Missing Monday. The girls were last seen near an abandoned railroad bridge known as the Monon High Bridge around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The girls were dropped off near the bridge to walk around and hang out. They had made arrangements to be picked up by a family member later in the afternoon. But when it came time for the girls to be picked up, they never showed up.
And he saw something, and he couldn't figure out what it was. And there was two deer out there. But as he looked up to what that was, is when he saw them.
It was a volunteer searcher who discovered the bodies of Abby Williams and Libby German, laying in the grass between these trees deep in the woods.
He called his wife and said, "We found him." My sister come up and she was just crying. And she said, "I'm so sorry."
Waiting in that treehouse, but the spaceship never came.
What eventually led up to the discovery of the bodies?
Can't say.
Was it a deer?
No, it wasn't a deer.
And he couldn't figure out what it was. And there was 2 deer.
Was it a visual implication?
Depending on the rest of that statement,
So it wasn't footprints.
no.
Was it drag marks?
No.
Was it tire marks?
No.
Okay.
Like, are we talking about like 4-wheeler tires? Are we talking about car tires? The only ATVs that were around that I know of were Amy and Elvis on the 14th. So that'd be the only place that I know where tire marks would come from.
At least from that's why I contacted you, because I was researching those tracks, you know, and the ATV, what Anna Williams eventually said, and I was like, holy shit, because people leak text, you know, and I find that interesting, and I want to debunk them. But this one I did not want to debunk. I want to verify it. So that's why I made contact with you. You saw tracks, and I was doing research on tracks, so that's how we came across. So you were saying,
I can,
go ahead.
dude. I can even remember the track pattern of that track. Okay, like that's how distinct that track set in my mind that day. Like I can tell you that was it was like a triangle, like an arrow type pattern on their tire. Like I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember that track in that mud going up that hill.
So it was fresh, right?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
There was a physical implication. Was it coming from the creek?
Yes.
Okay. Did it look like something that was obvious?
Not at first glance, no.
So mud being like dragged away would drag something.
Do what?
Did it look like something? Well, you didn't say drag marks.
No.
Did it look like? Okay, the ground was disturbed, obviously. Let's leave it at that.
Okay.
Okay.
Waiting in that treehouse, but the spaceship never came. So tell me now, what have we got?
I start seeing deer antlers.
Aliens and dinosaurs. Waiting in that treehouse, but the spaceship never came. So tell me now, what have we got?
I start seeing deer antlers and skulls of, I believe, was a rabbit in the tree. They were decapitated, just the face of the skulls and the antler, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were just set, like, you know how a tree will fork, so they weren't even like hanging on a broken branch so that they'd stay put. They were just resting in the forks of trees, you know what I mean? Just like placed in there. Yeah, and it was almost like it, you know, it had to almost be recently placed in there because, like I said, they weren't, it wasn't like a limb coming through the eye socket of this deer skull or this rabbit skull. You know, it was just resting there. So when the weather and winds would come through, you would think that stuff would fall out of them trees as they sway around. Which leads me to believe that they was recently done. And then right close to the bottom of that hill where I noticed the tracks, that's where the pile of bones were. And I'm going to tell you, there was all types of bones there.
Hey, like,
Oh, go ahead.
like you. Never mind.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I can't is the problem, but
Try to do it in a less lenient way then. do a hypothesis?
No, I can't. But I don't know what you're implementing, but it's not even remotely close to what happened or how it came about. Like, this is the first I've ever heard about in 6 years now. Or any kind of drag marks, or I just learned about the marking on the tree a couple weeks ago. That is completely irrelevant.
I don't think it's relevant as well. You have this entire theory with Odinism. I wouldn't even bother looking into it.
No, that shit just blows my mind. Like, that doesn't even make any kind of sense. What does that even mean?
Yeah,
that's not something you would find in Delphi.
It does not.
What you find in Delphi is perverted on men.
Did you ever come close to the bodies?
I was 20 foot away from them.
So that is it. You weren't allowed up there.
See, I'm not answering that, but that is not 100% correct either.
So you wanted to. Okay.
No, I didn't want to. What I wanted to do was make sure somebody from law enforcement came to the area that I was at to secure the area that I was at.
Did you use the scanner?
What do you mean a scanner?
Did you have like a scanner on you that recorded that?
I had a department-issued radio, fire department.
Okay. Because that got recorded.
That got recorded?
We found girls' clothes underneath the creek.
Well, that's not true either, because I didn't say that on the... Well, I'm not saying law enforcement didn't. All I'm saying is I did not.
You did not? Okay.
What I did was contacted Carroll County 911 via radio and told them to call me on my cell phone. And then I gave them directions and coordinates to my location.
Okay. Then, Eric, did you take those pictures?
Not saying.
It's fine. So you were there with the second individual when you found those clothes?
No, sir.
Huh.
Not until Drew Yoder and Spencer Kingery showed up.
That is freaking odd. So,
And there was...
you were in the water, and you were wearing one of those wetsuits, right?
No. That was after I had already left. When I got relieved by Drew Yoder and Spencer Kingery, I walked up the hill and left the scene immediately.
So, goddamn it, David, that was way earlier.
What was way earlier?
Becky said to me that she got the phone call at 11:30. And they said to me, Ella McDonald took that image of the clothing at 1:13 or 11:13. That can't be possible. If he found the bodies, how in the world did he then find the clothes as well? Unless you need to tell him.
I don't remember an exact time, but it was early than 11:14.
Or was it earlier, right?
It was closer to between 9:45 and 10:30.
And my man, I'm really sorry that people gave you a lot of shit for the things that you have said within those texts. And, okay, let's say this. The things that you said in 2017, do you solemnly swear that as the truth?
Yes.
No, that's not her nor Libby. Abby was placed there on the ground like a doll. Hood up, hands folded, wearing the same clothes as the pic from the bridge.
I just got here. When coroner report stated everything was over by 3:30.
Correct.
Coroner's report stated everything was over by 3:30.
It was personal with Libby. So Libby's head was an inch away from almost being taken completely off.
Correct.
Because they use a different knife, that's why. Then, Eric, did you take those pictures?
Not saying. Information that was leaked via podcasts and internet was information that Delphi, Indiana State Police already had. And my first DNA fucking swab test and polygraph test, and Steve Mullins went through both of my phones, dumped them both, and left everything on one of my phones.
Did it?
So 6 years later, when people were asking me if I had any quote-unquote proof of anything, and then they came off my phone to somebody else, didn't really see it being that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I never had any pictures of the bodies or anything else like that, no. And I'm not... I mean, everything that I've told everybody, I've already told FBI, State Police, and fucking Delphi City.
Did it take
People
DNA from you as well?
Yes.
Because I'm led to believe that I do have DNA.
Yeah, they took my DNA 2 days after.
Mm-hmm.
Sat through like 72 hours of interrogation. It might not have been that much, but it was fucking... It was a week and a half. Between being questioned, interrogated, polygraph tests, everything.
Girls haven't answered their phones since around the time they went missing. Deputies, firefighters, and local police are checking every crevice and nook.
Looking for answers, looking for the girls.
But so are others from the community. And many of them say they won't stop looking, even if it takes...
Daybreak, fall over with exhaustion. Honestly, I hope they're just hidden up somewhere, scared to be in trouble.
Extensive search to find them.
Ravines, ditches, trash cans for phones, any sign of the girls, and anything we can find to just find them.
At first thought it didn't hit me until I got to the bottom and I kind of looking around and I seen the tracks coming out of it, and I got to looking a little closer and I could see the tracks going back up it. Like I said, one set of tracks, one set coming down and it goes back up. And then right close to the bottom of that hill where I noticed the tracks, that's where the pile of bones were. And I'm going to tell you, there was all types of bones there. Like I could identify squirrel, rabbit. I could identify, it appeared to be a dog or maybe a coyote. There was deer. There was other large bones that I just assumed was cattle or hog. Man, I'll tell you what was entering my mind at that point is that there's some type of satanic cult, and this may be where they practice. Mm-hmm. So as I'm going on, we get up, we walk up the tracks on through and we get up to the trestle area. It was like pitch dark at that point, and there was several people standing in the area. And so I'm going up and I ask one of the guys, because I go during the daylight, you know, I didn't have a flashlight in my hand, you know, I didn't. And so I go to cross these trestles, and I believe it was a fireman. I'm not positive on that. Like I said, it was dark. I was tired. And they tried to tell me I cannot pass through. Like, all right, first off, no, she's not my daughter, but I'm treating this as if. This is my friend's daughter, and I've been asked by my friend to come on scene and to help identify or, you know, find them.
Dude, you were across from those girls, you know?
From the way you showed me that map, man, yeah. Like, there was nobody on this trestle, which struck me to be wrong and odd as all hell wouldn't have it. And so it really struck me odd that this was their focal point, that this was where they, you know, because I believe that's where the girls were supposed to be meeting up with their father to get picked up. And so that was their focal point. And for them to not have it lit up like 4th of July just astound me. So, you know, that's another point that just stands out in my mind so bad it's not funny.
Waiting in my treehouse, but the spaceship never came. So tell me now, what have we got?
In position, no witness, just a puzzle and a premonition. Facts hit the pavement, no hesitation. Reading between the lines, the investigation.
Case by case, got that fire. Fire. Case by case, got that fire.
Oh yeah.
Case by case, got that fire.
That's right. Yeah. On the details, got the magnifier, digging through the dark, taking it higher. No room for doubt, no place to retire. Burning through the evidence, a digital pyre.
Case by case, got that fire.
Get it?
Case by case, got that fire.
Yeah.
Case by case, got that fire.
That's the one. A search engine's a weapon, a network's my stage. Flipping through the data, turning a new page. They leave digital footprints, a trail on the wire. Chasing down the truth, yeah, that's my desire. From the deep web's core to the public display, uncovering the secrets, putting them on full array. It's a digital trail, a modern day chase for the truth and the facts in this digital space. Yeah, like and subscribe. Another one down. Over and now.
Case by case, got that fire.
Welcome to Case by Case.
We got that fire.
Yeah, I'm on a mission, mind in position. No witness, just a puzzle and a premonition. Facts hit the pavement, no hesitation. Reading between the lines, the investigation.
Case by case, got that fire. Fire. Case by case, got that fire.
Oh yeah.
Case by case, got that fire.
That's right. on the details, got the magnifier. Digging through the dark, taking it higher. No room for doubt, no place to retire. Burning through the evidence, a digital pyre.
Case by case, got that fire. Case by case, got that fire.
Yeah, yeah.
Case by case, got that fire.
That's the one. Yeah, 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 yeah. A search engine's a weapon, a network's my stage. Flipping through the data, turning a new page. They leave digital footprints, a trail on the wire. Chasing down the truth, yeah, that's my desire. From the deep web's core to the public display. Uncovering the secrets, putting them on full array. It's a digital trail, a modern day chase for the truth and the facts in this digital space. Yeah, like and subscribe. Another one down. Over and now.
Case by case, got that fire.
Mike was muted. Sorry about that. Welcome to Case by Case. Welcome in, everybody. How are you doing? Chat is going crazy. There's over 100 people in chat already, and we just now are going live. So welcome to Case by Case. If you're new here, we have been covering the Delphi case on this episode. This is Vault 21. Can you believe that? 21 episodes of the Vault. That's crazy. So I have Quester with me today, and I have Great Lakes Fungi. We are going to basically get into a lot of, for those of you who are new to the channel or new to the case, just know, the Delphi case initiated clear back in 2017, where Abigail Williams and Liberty German went missing on the Monon High Bridge. There was a video that Liberty took that captured a male figure on the bridge behind them. And it's a 43-second video. And we have been on the search for who this individual is. We have now had, 15 volumes of exhibits dropped. With the supplementary drop of 1 and 2 that are smaller versions. I think that I dropped a question in the chat for everyone who's already here about the fact that I wanted you guys to post, if you've been reading through the non-confidential exhibits, which area of information have you found that you find most shocking? That will help us today navigate through where we're going in the conversation. I have a small presentation, and then I also have different volumes uploaded already. Hey, Tom. Hey, Shabugs. I'm going to bring on Quester and Fungi. And today's going to be kind of an open conversation. I know that we had one the other night on Saturday. There's so much to comb through here on all of these volumes. And I'm trying to put together an ensemble of information that is timeline oriented and makes sense. I know that I'm seeing tons of posts of people who are pointing out different things in the case that are shocking, that are contrary to what the state presented at trial. I agree with all of it. What I'm trying to do is make sense of it. Hey, Shabugs. What I'm trying to do is make sense of it and put it in an organized presentation. That's going to take time because there's so much. And please email me excerpts or screenshots of things that you've noticed that contradict other things, because that helps make the process a lot easier. And yeah, so let me bring them on. Hey, Quester.
Hiya.
Hey, Fungi. How are you guys?
I mean,
Not so bad.
chickens.
So, Quester, starting with you. I know that this weekend you were tied up, but have you been able to dig into the non-confidential exhibits that All Eyes was able to get for the community?
Unfortunately, not a lot. As you said, I've been tied up a lot with a lot of things. So I'm a little bit behind.
I get it. Fungi. I know that you sent me. Well, Fungi and I have been like communicating all hours of the night, going over different things, different screenshots. Chickens. We can't leave out the chickens.
Important.
But
yeah.
Yeah, Fungi sent me a whole plethora of things that now, and I just want to reiterate that before these exhibits came out, we kind of had an ongoing plethora of information about the mysterious fires, the ancestral connections of families in Delphi, the land and property purchases that now have all been kind of tabled that we haven't been able to get to because all of this has come out. So we're juggling, and I don't want to just bounce around everywhere, but that's kind of hard not to do. So I hope that everybody in the chat is able to keep up with a lot of the information that we're going to talk about today. So, Fungi, what for you in the non-confidential exhibits are the most concerning? Do you have an opinion?
Yeah, that the tip sheet was apparently printed out in 2019, which is a big freaking deal. I mean, and then Kathy Shank, our incredible hero of the time. There's never going to be another one like her. She's one of a kind, guys. I just gotta say, guys, I wish everyone had a Kathy Shank.
Well, and Kathy Shanks, let's be clear, she's a volunteer investigator.
But she's better than everyone else, you know, because she's got superpowers apparently, and they were able to see that, which I think is really incredible, guys. But yeah, so it looks like that that tip sheet was probably printed out. And big credit, all the stuff that I sent Amy, big credit to people on Twitter. I refuse to call it X. It sounds like a Mad Lib. We're not calling it X. Yeah, so big yes, she saved the freaking world. But the spider, oh yeah, despite claiming to shred the MEID number, whatever it is, MEID number for the cell phone, it was there. But yeah, so there's a lot of issues with what they said on the stand now, is all I'm gonna say. But yeah, it looks like that was printed. It was printed in 2019, and it coincides with the geofencing information that the FBI sort of did, I think.
So going through, so we were initially involved. We were initially covering the Frank's memo, the Odin aspect of all of this, and then all of this came out. So we've been kind of like sidetracked. However, a lot of it aligns with the Frank's memo. So I have uploaded multiple volumes of the exhibits, but I thought it was going to, I thought today would be really important. And I'm asking everybody in the chat to drop their opinion about what, because if you're like me, I've bounced around. I have bounced around because there are so many pages that are blank that they've just, kept from us. So I've bounced around trying to find pertinent information, and obviously the depositions that they did with Brad Holder, Elvis Fields, Anna Williams. The one with Anna Williams is interesting. For me, out of all of them, Taylor Hornsby is the most telling, simply because
Hornaday.
Or Hornaday. You're right.
Right, or Smith, either one. I mean, she's
Right.
gone all by all three.
Taylor Hornaday, Hornsby, whatever you want to call her, for me is the most important because I feel she has the most at stake. She has a career. She owns an insurance company, and she wanted to literally get on the record during her deposition that her words during her interviews with Todd Click, Murphy, and Ferenczi were all twisted. Yet, when we go through the deposition, you're going to see that every single statement or quote that she provided. Okay, yes, Rocky's in the room, guys. And the more he gets comfortable with this atmosphere, the more he's going to interject. So if you hear screeching, that's him. If he gets out of control, I'll remove him from the studio. Shush. But the only times that she seems to retract her statements is when it has to do with Johnny being involved up close and personal with all of these people. However, she agrees that the statements that she made during her first interview are accurate. So for me, she gives the most informative deposition out of all of them, out of Holder, out of Fields, and there's several others. And then we also have a deposition of the FBI agent who served the search warrant on Ron Logan's property. And like I said on Twitter, I wanted to reach through the screen and smack her in the face. I was highly disappointed in her behavior, her so-called lack of memory about writing the search warrant and what was obtained at the property at Ron Logan's house. So I want everybody in chat to kind of drop your opinions on if there's something that you, besides the shocking revelation that Kathy Shank in 2022 did not happenstance upon Rick Allen's tip sheet. That's a lie. The printed document that we now have in these exhibits that show that it was done in 2019, one of one, a copy that was printed out with the date, shows that Kathy Shank was looking at this lead. Yes, Shabugs. And Brad Holder's gun, the one he took pictures of and put on his Facebook page with the holster, is the same exact .40 caliber round that was never tested against the so-called bullet found at the crime scene within 6 inches of Libby's foot. So, Fungi, you're great at monitoring the chat. If anybody drops a question or a statement that needs to be discussed, please bring it to my
Yes.
attention.
Someone did ask, do you think that the rest of the omitted pages will ever be released?
if this case was to fade away, possibly, as of right now, no. I'm shocked that we've gotten this much so far, even though half of it has been basically redacted. I don't expect to get it.
Sorry, I hit the back button on my browser.
That's okay.
We're back.
Rocky just said, all right.
I really appreciate Rocky's commentary and approval. Honestly, that's what I was kind of looking for.
Yeah, when you'll know he's paying attention when you hear him say, "What?
What?"
So I find it, and I also with Brad Holder with his deposition, and when I believe it's Diener who comes in after his initial questioning, she comes in and she asks. So if we have your work records and we have your, I guess, log information on his fitness card, where when he's working out, does he think it's accurate? But then there's this random form that they have included with all of his check-ins. But yet we have the screenshot of him checking in on the 13th, like 1 something in the afternoon, when the state is claiming that he was at work. Now, I don't see that on the actual membership card check-in list, but it all seems nefarious. It all seems to be made up, like people are doing things to cover their tracks, to create alibis that don't really exist. And all of it just seems, pre-planned. The state only had, 7 years to do all of this? Yeah, like he was establishing a timeline. And the downplaying that Brad Holder gives us in his deposition of how important Ossetru and the runes and all of that stuff, he wants us to believe that that was just kind of, like a side gig, like he was just looking into it. And, him being a part of the Vinlanders wasn't a big deal. Yet he spent several years focused on runes, bind runes, the gods, making posts about the gods. He even had freaking tattoos done on his body that are permanent, replicating runes. And now they want us to believe that it was all just, like a phase, like my favorite color is pink. And then 6 months from now, my favorite color is going to be black. It pisses me off that they think that everybody is this stupid. So Andy Copsa says my hair is just permanently on fire. Yeah, it's insane the amount of bullshit that, and then to find out that, Anna actually went to Patrick Westfall's house. She knew Patrick Westfall before any of this. It's pretty interesting. So let's talk about Elvis Fields, because he's one of the first ones that is encountered in these exhibits with his deposition. And I'm not going to read through the entirety of his deposition. And I want you guys to know that I've got multiple presentations in the works, and I want to be thorough. So we're only going to cover certain aspects of Elvis Fields' testimony in his deposition today. But Elvis Fields is a liar. And if he's not a liar, everyone around him including his siblings, his sisters, must be considered liars.
Do you have a picture of him that you can bring up? Because I just want everyone to see the face of a man that has never used meth before.
Yeah, that's him right there.
Yeah. Guys, this man is attested to on the stand that he has never once used methamphetamine in his life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just going to leave it there. Leave that right there.
Yeah. He's never used methamphetamines. He doesn't know what his disability is for Social Security, which is interesting. He does not know who his daughter, which he has a relationship with. He doesn't know who her husband is or who the father of her child is. And he doesn't know his grandson's name. Those are some very vague bullshit statements that this man has made. And he's recently, and it seems to be conveniently in tune with the non-confidential exhibits being released, that now he is reactivated on Facebook. And this is the screenshot of his new Facebook account where he's now accepting friends.
Oh my God, I need to go find him.
Yeah, well, if he's getting bombarded, he's not going to reply. Which
I don't care. I just want to friend him.
Yeah, he's on there. Rushville Auto Salvage is where he's at right now. But let's talk about his deposition. So he plays stupid pretty much all the way through the deposition. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know anyone. And he's telling Andrew Baldwin that there's somebody on Facebook who's mimicking him, that they are copying what he's posting and trying to replicate it on their page. However, we know that that is not true based on Brad Holder's deposition, because in Brad Holder's deposition, it is proven that Brad Holder is the one making posts and the person replicating his posts based on the timestamp of the posts, that it's actually Elvis mimicking Brad Holder and not the other way around. But let's just go through some of the blatant lies that Elvis Fields states in his deposition. Exhibit number 9. I'll hand you now number 10. Same thing. Is this something that you posted and then you noticed Brad Holder imitated or mimicked your Facebook post? Yes. Back then, you recognized that this guy named Brad Holder was for some reason mimicking your Facebook posts. Yes. What did you think of that? Why did you think he was doing that? Elvis says, it's like he was knocking me. How would he have known that you were alive, Brad Holder? I don't know. But you did notice it back in 2015 and 2016, correct? Yes. Why do you think he was mocking you? Do you have any idea? No. Did you ever try to find out? No. Oh, shoot. I meant to take this off. My bad. I overlapped that. I'm sorry. But I can finish these statements that are overlapped. Have you ever seen anyone arrange sticks on bodies in a certain way? No. Have you ever heard of Odinism? No. Or Vinlander. Have you ever heard of Vinlander? No. Have you ever heard of Bobby Drew? No. He's a liar. In these exhibits, we see that in Rod Abrams' video, number 1, between the timestamp of 9:15 and the 800 mark, Elvis drives a white truck. Now, how many times have we heard references to a white truck around the trails on the day of the murders? Quite a few. Rod Abrams, video 3 at the 4:30 mark. Elvis wore a hoodie with a Carhartt jacket. That does not sound familiar at all, does it?
No nexus.
None. Absolutely not. Here again is the full portion of the deposition where he's being asked, have you ever seen anyone arrange sticks on bodies in a certain way? No. Have you ever heard of Odinism? No. Or Vinlander, have you ever heard of that? No. Have you ever heard of Ossetru? No. These are all Elvis Fields statements. Then we're going to get into Taylor Hornaday, who gave a deposition. And she wants everyone to believe that Todd Click twisted her words. So let's pull that up. Let me see. Which one is that?
In the meantime, few things. Apparently there was a guy acting like he had the right to a lawyer at the deposition, and someone was asking if that was Johnny Messer. I have not made it that far. If anyone else knows. I think that's really funny, though. Wait, what? Brad also got drunk and screamed about hating black people.
He did.
Wait, in court?
No, Brad Holder defecated on.
Oh, I heard about I heard about the poopy.
Yeah, and then he went outside. That's when he went outside and was screaming that he hated black people. And there was an incident.
Oh.
There was an incident with Elvis Fields, who kind of did the same thing, I believe, at his daughter's house. So, but they're not racist. None of them are racist.
No. Please do not make that connection, guys.
They're not racist.
Don't.
Here, hang on a second here.
Fig Fairy. Apparently, Brad Holder, and this has been testified to by several people, accidentally shat himself while on the couch at Mickey McGinley's. Maybe it wasn't an accident. I don't know, but it happened.
So I'm trying. Let me get back here because I'm having a hard. The exhibit volumes are fantastic. However, they're hard to pull out.
It's can't control
like yeah, you have to download the whole thing and then scroll through. And I'm trying to remember.
I can entertain the masses. Yeah, accidentally. No, he was actually taking a stand against white supremacy when he was taking that shit on that couch. That's what he'll probably tell us next. Back in 2017, Judy Northern Johnson says this. Back in 2017, Ned Smith had a white truck and later on gave his truck to Elvis H. Yeah, I guess the agent is supposed to be there, but yeah. Interesting. Oh, Johnny. Yeah, okay. So the guy who thinks that he deserved a lawyer during a deposition was Johnny Messer, Volume 5, page 55-ish.
Okay.
And Ashley Lauren says she can separate it for you. I think she means like the.
Ashley, that would be freaking great. I just want to pull out the depositions separately from everything else because there are equally these pages that we see on the screen right now excluded from public access that are commingled in all of this. And I'm trying to get to Taylor Hornaday's deposition because there is some serious implications in there. So this is the one of Elvis Fields. I think that we need to go to the other one. Hold on. Might be this one. Okay, yeah, this is the one where Taylor Hornaday is talking about how fucking great Johnny Messer is. And, you know, he's a completely different person. He's been on house arrest for a quarter of his life. And how, you know, he's told her that he's killed before, but that doesn't mean anything. It's just a figure of speech because he's a white man wanting to puff out his chest and impress a girl. Pretty much, that's what I got from it. Quester, have you even gotten to read any of these yet?
Unfortunately not, no.
So let's talk quickly about these fake Facebook pages that Elvis Fields, I believe Johnny Messer, and Patrick Westphal all utilized. And for some reason, they used young images of Oriental boys as their Facebook profiles. And I have yet to figure out why or what the significance of that is, but she talks about it here. Starting at, let me see here. We're going to start at line 11. Taylor Hornaday says, she said that Messer had a fake Facebook page where he was posing as a Chinese guy. Is that a true statement? I'm sure I found that, yeah. Is that what you told police? Yeah, I'm sure. Do you know what that was about? No. He has told her he has killed before, but she says he lies so much, she does not know if this is true or not. Is that a true statement? I don't think that's a true statement, but he does lie a lot. So only half of that statement's true when it comes to Johnny, according to Taylor. But he does lie a lot. If he had a peanut butter for lunch, he'd tell you it was a tuna fish. This was years ago. He's a completely different person since 6 years of house arrest. He's a completely different person. I'm very proud of who he is today. So 6 years on house arrest? The fuck?
I wonder why. I never heard that long of a house arrest period. I'll be honest. Has anyone else?
I mean, if you're on
Usually
house
you
arrest,
just go to prison.
pretty much. So we're going to read through all of this because I feel
Apparently it wasn't a Chinese guy. It was Chun-Li from Street Fighter, which is a video game.
Oh, okay.
Which is honestly kind of even funnier.
Yeah. But that's Johnny Messer. That's not the same. That's not the same fake profiles that Elvis Fields used, or
Jesus Christ,
Patrick Westphal. So line 4, question. That's actually a 2-part question. Part number 1, from what's written down from the interview, is he, aka Johnny, has told her he has killed before. Is that a true statement that he has told you that? No. Is it true that you told the police that? No.
Wrong.
But Taylor says he lies so much that she does not know if this is true or not, because that's linked up to the first part. I'm not even going to ask you. Okay. Taylor is currently pending on counterfeit charges as a result of the January 18th search warrant in which Messer is charged with methamphetamine related charges and currently is on home detention. Is that a true statement? It was. And it's because I was driving the vehicle at McDonald's drive-thru and he handed me the money. He was in the passenger seat and handed me money, and I handed it to the person. He never paid for anything because he never worked. But I was like, okay, it was around Christmas time. So I was like, great, there's a police officer behind me in the drive-thru. Like, I wouldn't have done that, you know what I mean? I didn't know. Sure. And I told the cop that, and they charged me with it too. How did it end up? How did it end up? They dropped it. You didn't even get a criminal conviction out of that? No. I'm weeding out things. This is more their stuff they talked about. I'll read it out loud if you want. But there was a download of phones from a search warrant. I've seen the search warrant that was out in Terre Haute. Did they need a search warrant, or did you actually turn over the phones to them? Anytime I found something when I was cleaning my house, it's 3,000 square feet. It's 4 or 5 bedrooms here in Rushville. I rent it out now, and I was finding anything I could find. I drove it to the police department, anything. In 2 of the phone calls, it says Messer is offering money to other people to find someone so they can be injured or killed. Did you ever hear those calls? No, I did not. Have you ever heard that before until I just said it? No. The other call is Messer bragging about holding a subject hostage and shooting them at his house. Have you ever heard of that before? No. Remember that statement in her answer. No. Remember that. The other call is Messer bragging about holding a subject hostage and shooting them at his house. Have you ever heard of that? No. He later released them and took them home after taking their AK-47. Have you ever heard of that? No. I believe the victim's name is Tillison. They lived in Shelbyville. Have you ever heard of that? Can you repeat that statement? It is believed that the victim's last name is Tillison and they lived in Shelbyville. Who's dead now? But no, I don't know about that. Question. Tell me about that. So everything above, she just freaking denied ever hearing about or knowing about. And then we have this. Who's dead now? But no, I don't know about that. Baldwin
He's
says,
a good boy.
Baldwin says, tell me about that. Well, now, everything that she just lied about, comes out. Oh, that guy came to our house and took our gun. And I mean, yeah, it was a big ordeal. Was it an AK-47? Asked Baldwin. Question. Yes. Answer. Yes. Did Johnny go get his gun back that Tillison stole from him? Is that what happened? Answer. I don't know what happened. She says, I don't know what happened. You're going to find out. She was standing right there. I don't know what happened. I know they were fighting and there was a gun. And I stood in front of Johnny because he had the gun pointed at him. And then he put the gun down. Question. We're getting through here, just so you know. But no one was shot or anything like that. Or there was no hostages or anything. No. We're getting close here. A lot of this I'm going to be able to weed out because it really doesn't pertain to you. Do you remember sending Johnny Messer a text that said, if they told us they already questioned Brad and Patrick, what makes you think they didn't tell them they were going to question us? Something along those lines? If they what? If they told us, I'm thinking it's the police. But if they've already questioned Brad and Patrick, what makes you think they didn't tell them that they were going to question us? The way that that's written, the way that I interpret it is, I think it's represented to be a text from you to Johnny saying, hey, if they've talked to Brad and Patrick and you know that, what makes you think they're not going to come down here and talk to us about the stuff? Do you remember sending a text like that? No, but it sounds like something I would say, especially with it ruining our lives right now. This would be back when the police were coming around. I don't know. I don't know now why I would have texted something like that back then. Now I could see more of a reason to say something like that. I'll read it. This is Baldwin. I'll read it one more time and maybe you can follow along. Okay. If they told us that they already questioned Brad and Patrick, mind you, we're on a first name basis here, Brad and Patrick, not Holder and Westfall, but the first name basis of Brad and Patrick. What makes you think they didn't tell them? I think Brad and Patrick, that they were going to question us. You don't know if you ever wrote that. I don't know if I ever wrote that. Were you ever worried that Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall were going to be aware that you were talking to the police? Did that ever concern you? No, I was never concerned on the SOS, which is the Vinlander stomp on sight proclamation on Johnny Messer, because Johnny Messer had a biracial child with a black woman. So the Vinlanders issued a stomp on sight for him. But the question was, were you ever worried that Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall were going to be aware that you were talking to the police? Did that ever concern you? The question had nothing to do with the stomp on sight that she answers within her answer, the stomp on sight. No, I was never concerned on the stomp on sight or anything like that either, because I think it's all stupid and they need to grow up. I'm going to keep reading right off of this thing and keep going. And I think we got this much more. Okay. Okay. On November 20th, 2018, Taylor Hornaday was again interviewed by Ferenczi Murphy at the Rushville PD. Yes. Taylor was asked how she recalled arguing with Messer during Valentine's Day week in 2017. She stated that in 2015, she had a miscarriage at 21 weeks. Is that a true statement? No, I would never have said a miscarriage. So that right there, I can guarantee you, is a twist of words. Because I gave birth and our son lived for a few hours and he passed away. And he's actually buried in the cemetery right down the road. I would never have used the words miscarriage. Okay, so let's stop right there and talk about differentiating between stillborn, miscarriage, and a child that is delivered and lives for a short period of time. I'm sure that medically there are circumstances that categorize each one of these things as a different thing. In this situation, I don't think the title of the situation matters. In this situation, what matters is what she told law enforcement. How would law enforcement know that they lost a child at 21 weeks, whether it was stillborn, miscarriage, or lived for a couple of hours? How would they have known that unless she conveyed that information? And as a non-medical person, to package it in a nice, presentable way, I can see where a male adult law enforcement agent would say, it was a miscarriage. She's trying to get hung up on the terminology here to emphasize how her words are twisted, but I really don't believe that this is the portion of twisting that she's really worried about here. Now, mind you, what I didn't go over at the beginning of this deposition is the fact that she lets Baldwin and Rosie know that she was accompanied to this deposition with her ex-boyfriend, Johnny Messer's current wife. The wife accompanied her to this deposition. Why? Why? And hold on a second. I'm not the only one who finds that interesting, because Andrew Baldwin, on a legal pad during the deposition, made a notation of it. Johnny Messer's current wife attends deposition with Taylor and wanted to sit in on the deposition. That to me sounds like a red flag, which clearly Baldwin picked up on. And it also tells us that someone is putting pressure on Taylor to say or not say certain things.
I wonder who it could be.
I have no idea. Quester, anything you want to add before I continue to keep reading? Quester. He's muted. Quester, you're muted.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, something happened there. No, I'm okay at the moment. You carry on.
Okay. So Andrew Baldwin extends his sympathies. I'm sorry to hear that. Her and Messer then had a child. After the birth of this child, they went on to have another child on June 2nd of 2016. Is that true? Is that a true statement? Yes. Is that what you told the police? Yes. In December of 2016, she became pregnant again. Is that a true statement? Yes. Is that what you told the police? Yes. While pregnant during Valentine's weekend of 2017, she states that they were moving from one residence to another. Is that a true statement? If that's what I said, then if that's when the move was going on, yes. And do you remember telling the police that? I don't remember saying that. She was angry with Messer because he was with the Vinlanders during this time. Is that a true statement? I remember being mad that he wasn't helping me move. Yes, I remember being mad about that. As you sit here, you don't know whether, I don't know where he was. Did you believe that he was with the Vinlanders? Yes. She was angry with Messer because he was with the Vinlanders during this time. Is that a true statement? Yes. Is that what you told the police? Yes. She stated she had to pack up all of their stuff while pregnant and be responsible for their under 1-year-old son. Answer, yes. She does not recall if Messer came home before, on, or after February 14th. Is that a true statement? He always came home. So no, that's not, I don't know when he came home. I'll read it again. She does not recall if Messer came home before, on, or after February 14th of 2017. Is that a true statement? I'm going to say no, because he always came home. I wouldn't say that he just didn't come home, so no. He always came home every night, Johnny Messer did? Yeah. I know he went to Minnesota, right? That was the trip that he had planned. But like as far as going up to a meeting or going anywhere and then just not coming back, that never happened. Taylor said that Messer, she didn't really answer. Taylor said that Messer was driving her 2001 Chevy red Suburban. Answer, yes. Is that a true statement? Answer, yes. Is that what you told the police? Answer, yes. Taylor recalls being even more angry with him because she noticed something like blood on the side of the vehicle. Is that a true statement? There was something red on the front of the vehicle where it looked like he had hit an animal or something like that. And I had found an earring in the vehicle, and I told them that too. Tell me what you remember about the blood on the vehicle. It was like on the front fender area on the driver's side, and it was red in color. Well, the truck was red, so it was just a darker color red, where it looked like something like that, indicating when blood gets a little bit older, it gets a different color. Is that what the color looked like? It was just a darker red, yes. What color was the car? You said it was red, but there's different shades of red. Like the bright red Chevy, kind of like that. Yeah. Where did you see it? Was it on a bumper? Was it on the hood? So the front of the vehicle on the driver's side fender, like by the headlight, was it more on the front or more on the side, this red? I would say more like, I don't know, like if this was the car, the front left-hand corner, right on the side, the tire wheel well, more on the side than on the front? Yeah. How much of this red substance was there? Noticeable. Did you ever ask Johnny what that was, that red substance on the vehicle? No. I think I said, I remember waking up one morning when he came in, and the smell just woke me up because he had hit a skunk. I don't know if you've ever smelled a raw skunk, but I don't know. She remembers needing to take the vehicle to a car wash and using the tire brush to get it off. Yeah. Is that a true statement? Yes. Is that what you told the police? Yes. When you saw this red substance, was it Valentine's week, that time frame? I don't recall. At the time, she assumed Messer had hit an animal. Is that a true statement? Yes. Is that what you told the police? Yes. Her only recollection of the time period is 30 to 60 days after Valentine's Day, 2017, that she noticed the substance. Is that a true statement? Yes. Is that what you told the police? Yes. Taylor believed that Holder was a Vinlander probate with Westfall and Messer, but he did not make it in. Is that a true statement? Yes. He didn't come around much. Do you know what happened with Brad Holder? Why he didn't make it in? No. Did Johnny tell you why Brad Holder was no longer in the Vinlanders? No. Who left the Vinlanders first, if you know? Johnny, Messer, or Brad Holder? I would say Holder because Johnny was still in contact with Patrick until I burst the bubble on him not telling about his daughter. Taylor confirmed that Messer used fake Facebook pages, and one of the names he was using was Chun Li. Does that sound right? Yeah. Is that a true statement? Yeah. She stated that Westfall used the Facebook name of Jaeger Tierson. Yes. Do you remember that? Yes. Is that a true statement? Yes. She was unaware of any Facebook pages used by Holder. Is that a true statement? Yes. Taylor was not familiar with Elvis Fields. Is that a true statement? Yes. Is that what you told the police? Yes. Taylor stated that Messer did know Rod Abrams. Is that a true statement? No. I still don't know who Rod Abrams is. Question. That's you saying that you didn't know Rod Abrams, but what this report says is that Taylor stated that Messer did know Rod Abrams. I don't believe that's true. And you don't believe you told that to the police? I don't believe I did. Question. Taylor said that Messer and his mother currently live in the house where Abrams used to live at. Is that a true statement? I don't recall. It seems like a very specific thing. I don't recall that. Is it possible that you've just forgotten? Is it possible? So Johnny may have known Rod Abrams? He may have, yeah. Taylor said Messer and his friends call Abrams Rod Chester, pronouncing it in a way that made Abrams' speech. I think it's supposed to say made fun of Abrams' speech. Does that ring a bell? Yes. Is there a nickname that this Rod Abrams goes by or something? Let me reread it because I think it's in there, actually. Okay. Taylor said Messer and his friends called Abrams Rochester, pronouncing it in a way that made fun of Abrams' speech. And I'm adding the word fun because I think that's what's supposed to be there. Oh, I recall the way that they would refer to that, but I didn't know that person is related to the Rod Abrams. It seems like you indicated that you didn't know who Rod Abram was. I still don't, but I've heard Johnny say Rod Chester, but I didn't know that that's affiliated with this person. In this paragraph, you do. Messer did know Rod Abrams. She said that Abrams and his mother currently live there in the house where Abrams used to live, and that Messer and his friends called him Rod Chester. And you just did the right. But I didn't know Rod Chester is Rod Abrams. So they're probably saying something about this Rod Chester person and me saying, yeah, they made fun of the name. And then they're saying, I do know Rod, but I don't. Question. Was Johnny Messer worried that being affiliated with the Vinlanders might affect his sentencing on any criminal matters, if you know? Not that I'm aware of. Question. I think I might be done. Let me double check. I don't know that people are saying that Johnny was involved in the murders. Okay. But that he could have errantly, not knowing, connected people that might be involved in the murders with Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall. People from down here in Rushville. Would you know whether or not Johnny Messer ever connected Elvis Fields with Brad Holder or Patrick Westfall? No, I don't think he did. Or Rod Abrams, that he connected Rod Abrams. Like I said, I had the spyware on Johnny's phone where I could see messages and phone calls. I could hear ambient things going around. That never happened. The police have that phone. Question. He had multiple phones, though. I mean, he had burner phones and other types of phones, did he not? We didn't have money like that. No. Johnny never worked. I was the only one that worked. He had his one phone, and if it would break or something, he'd get a different phone. Question. I didn't go into this because I didn't really it didn't really pertain, but now it kind of does. It says here that Taylor Hornaday called. This is on January 28th of 2019. January 28th of 2019. Taylor Hornaday called yesterday stating she was cleaning her house and found a phone that she wanted to turn in. Todd Click went over to Taylor's house, picked it up. Excuse me. Opened up the phone, and the phone number is yada. He also found 3 Google voice numbers being used on this phone. This phone number, which goes to Delphi, that phone number that goes to Rowan, and this phone number that goes to Covington. And then another phone number, this phone number, was being activated with the Delphi prefix. Do you know what any of that means? Answer, no. Is it possible that Johnny had other phones that you didn't know about? Answer, no. Finding phones. There was so many people when they're doing drugs. They'll just trade stuff. You know what I mean? They had TVs. I would find SD cards. It was a nightmare. But anything that I found that I thought was specific or I thought could help, I turned it all in. Question. I appreciate that, and I think everybody does, because we're all after the truth here. We really are. Answer, yeah. I believe that I really do. One thing I want to ask, though, is that if Brad Holder, you know who Elvis Fields is now, right? I do now, yeah. I'm trying to figure out how Brad Holder knew that Elvis Fields existed on the planet Earth. Answer, I have no idea. And Johnny Messer is a guy that would know both of them. I understand that, but I don't know how. I don't see why they would make the connection. I don't see why Johnny would make that connection for them. Question. He never said anything about that to you? Answer, no. He's never even uttered the word Elvis Fields to you? No. Even to this very day? No. Okay. Let's stop that, because she is a liar. And is she a liar on her own free will, or is she a liar because there are people putting pressure on her to play dumb? She's admitting that all of these things that she testified to in her interview with Todd Click Ferenczi, she did say, but when it comes to little tiny specific things like, did Messer ever mention Rod Abrams or Elvis Fields? She says no. All right. Fungi, Quester, chime in here. I feel like I've been talking forever.
Okay. So in chat, they were talking about how one of Fields' associates, Josh Christman, he lived in Evansville, which is notable because of those Evansville murders. Oh wait, no, was that Shelbyville? He lived in Shelbyville. I'm sorry, but they also said they're also talking about Fields in connection to the, I believe it's Fields in connection to the Evansdale murders. From my understanding, I think that they might have actually found that the guy who did those. He just, he died when police were trying to get him, because he actually had a history of double kidnappings, literally like in the area. But I mean, it could, maybe it's not, but yeah. So I think the interesting parts are some of those vehicle descriptions. I think that those are definitely, useful. He didn't unalive by police. Yes. Then Elvis Fields was involved in the farm in Iowa, which was also interesting. Angela, I'm sorry, that was my rooster. Could you hear him?
Yeah, I heard him.
Yeah, that's the noise he makes whenever he thinks he sees something, or he just wants attention from the girls. Sorry, he sounds like a velociraptor. Please ignore him. You guys have anything else to say? I'll.
There's so much information in these exhibits that. Well, Andy Kopsa, as far as have you guys watched the documentary? I think it was on Netflix. It's called Taken Together. There is a strong possibility that the perpetrator, that I think it's 3 episodes, and the initial episode is about the Evansdale murder. And then they actually tie in the Delphi case, because there's 2 girls who are similarly like the Evansdale case. Then
Lyric and Elizabeth.
Erica and Elizabeth. Yeah, Lyrica and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Lyric. Which the final episode goes into.
I'm gonna dox you, Andy. I'm gonna dox you. Sorry.
There was 2 teenage girls abducted in that area and taken to a farm, excuse me, and attacked. And one of them was brutally unalived, and the other one got away. And when she got away and got to get help, they went looking for the man that had abducted them, and they found him, and he had unalived himself. And there's a very strong possibility that this same person is responsible for the Evansdale murder. But I personally don't believe that Evansdale and Delphi are related as far as suspects.
I know Michael did float that there was a cell phone similarity to both of those.
I don't think it was. I don't believe it was a cell phone. I know it had nothing to do with geofencing. It had it had to do with somebody who lived in Delphi, who had traveled to Evansdale during the course of the time that the Evansdale case happened.
Got it.
And there was some issues with the fact that the phone that individual had been pretty much like disabled, turned off, and then powered back on the next day. But it had nothing to do with geofencing. But I mean, me personally, I don't believe that the Evansdale and the Delphi case are related.
Wait. Sunshine Moon just said that Johnny Messer lived with Lyric's mom. I've never heard that.
Wait,
is that true?
What?
Is that true?
Okay, that is a serious thing. Sunshine Moon, hey, Precocent. I always want to say it one way or the other, like Precocent or Precocent.
Sunshine, give me your source or something. I'm not denying you. It's not that I don't believe you. I need to make sure that I'm going to be digging into something.
Okay, Sunshine Moon.
Would you like to be my friend?
Yes, you got to share proof. You have to, yeah. Guys, I am so tired of the rabbit holes and the cryptic information.
We appreciate it. Totally appreciate it. However, we got to know that there's something at the end of the rainbow there.
Yeah, because that is Sunshine Moon. If you have proof of that,
Send it to her.
Yes, email me.
Do it like now.
casebykcase10@gmail.com. That's a huge
I will love
connect.
you. Yeah, I don't think a lot of us knew that. That's crazy if so, because that's, ooh, I did not know that. That can change things. That was a bomb. Oh, there's a Messer and Ant shared an address in Evansdale at the same time, though. Data brokers don't always get it right. Yeah. So data brokers basically work by, if you like sign up for any service or something like that, they just basically take that with your name and assign it to you.
The thing is that we are hard pressed to believe that a Johnny Messer from Rushville, who was a Vinlander recruiter, who is also a third-party suspect in the Delphi case, would accidentally be attached to a property as a resident of a murder victim in Evansdale.
Yeah, one of the other members of another Messer family, Dustin Messer, or I think that's what it was, his name was mentioned in actually the Hornaday interview, and she said, no, that's a different Messer family. So yeah, there are other Messers, but
So the other thing, so the video that I played by Misbehaved that has a compilation of all of the audio interviews, again, Quester, I'm going to let you take the lead on this because we had the police scanner transcribed 3 different ways. And why, I cannot tell you. I don't understand it. I can give, like, let's just be honest, small community, friends, families, 2 young girls missing, 2 young girls who were missing that I believe on the onset, law enforcement did not take serious from the onset that there was possibly a dangerous situation looming. I think that they felt that these 2 girls had just wandered off or were doing things with friends. It wasn't until late in the midnight hours where things started to hit home like, holy shit, we might have a serious situation on our hands. That's why the canines were called off. That's why the search was called off. I can understand that if law enforcement came upon the crime scene at 11:30, 11:45, and everybody was in shock and awe. Oh my God, we need to get things situated. We need to call the crime scene, Texan. We need to get a hold of the coroner. And the announcement of the bodies being found didn't come until 12:15. I can understand that, being in a small community where they're trying to protect the families, friends, siblings, and loved ones of these victims. However, that was just to be clear, that was my perception of all of this. If at all we had information that the bodies were found earlier than what law enforcement claimed. I was never approaching this from a nefarious mindset that there was some serious cover-up in place here. But after going through the law enforcement scanner, after following up with all of the witness statements, including people who were there. I'm talking Erskine, Eric Williams, searchers who made Facebook public posts that they were turned away. Those bodies of Abby and Libby were found between 10 and 10:30 a.m. There's no getting away from that. There's no disputing that. And the video that I played at the very beginning of this live stream proves that, which we had gone over that weeks ago when we went over the audio scanner. And people need to come forward. Brad German, Libby German's grandfather, needs to come forward about when he was there that morning in the early hours before the sun even came up with his dog attempting to cross the creek. And he was told to go back. This area had already been searched and they were bringing in the canine units to search. Well, we know that's a lie. And then we know that Brad German also almost collapsed and everyone around him thought he was having a heart attack. And that call on the scanner goes out. Quester?
Yes. No, you were doing fine there. Yeah.
No, I mean, but you've scoured through those scanner reports and transcripts, and you know,
yes, that's I can. Yeah.
And you have it more memorized than what I do.
Possibly, yes.
Okay, so your thoughts?
Well, I think the 1011 scanner message was pretty precise in dating, in timing things. I don't know if you remember, that was the one where Medic 2 was sent to an old person having chest pains. You call that one?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. And that
the
was
only
at,
old. Sorry, go on.
You said that was at 10:02.
11 minutes past 10 in the morning.
Okay, 10:11. So 10:11
Yeah.
a.m. is when Medic 2 is called out for a man with chest pains that was going, and the Medic 2 was requested to meet a party out on 300, and I believe at Mears Lot, with a man who possibly could be having a heart attack. And we do know that when the word came out that the girls had been found unalived, that Brad German, Libby German's biological grandfather, almost collapsed. We have interviews from Kelsey German who discussed that, and it's also testified to at trial. So at 10:11, who else would be on the trails having chest pains and possibly having a heart attack? Are we supposed to believe that there's a whole nother person out there at 10:11 for no apparent reason having issues of chest pains?
Hey, Amy, one second. It's just really, really important. I just wanted to say this. Sunshine specifically has requested that you please do not take like screenshot or show the email itself.
Okay.
Because she's very nervous about that. I just want to. I appreciate her trust with us, and I just want to make sure that you knew that. So there we go.
Okay. Sunshine, I will not. And Sunshine, am I allowed to discuss what's in the context of the email?
I'll let you know her answer. You keep going, Quester. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I interrupted. That was just
No. Go.
Okay.
So we have 10:11, and then my understanding is, and the way that I digested the transcripts, and I know that a lot, I know Michael wants to say unless somebody comes forward and testifies, that would be great, but that doesn't mean that a defense team can't pursue individuals and bring them in and question them along those lines about the discovery of the crime scene. And the reason for me, if I was a juror, if I'm sitting in a courtroom and it's presented to me and there's witnesses paraded to the stand who have made public statements in writing about what time the bodies were found, what they seen, and information along the lines that law enforcement lied about the basic foundation of this case when the bodies were found. To me, as a juror, that would put from the onset in my mind serious doubt about trusting anything onward or after that law enforcement or the state was presenting. To me, that's why it's important. And most people don't realize the significance of their information. And it's not until they're poked and prodded, just like we've seen here in Taylor Hornaday's deposition. She doesn't want to come forth with facts or information until she's poked and prodded. And how all of these details about Valentine's Day weekend, she wants to say, no, I don't remember that. No, my words were twisted. But then when you start reading paragraphs from her statement and how there's no way of getting around what she said, then she tries to come out and sugarcoat it with, well, yeah, I might have said that, but I don't, it takes an aggressive defense attorney to pursue certain things. And again, as a juror, you have to pound these things home, especially when you're putting jurors in place who truly have no real information about the case. You have to paint the picture for them. You have to put it in context of why certain people can't be trusted. That's why the time the girls were found matters. If it's 15, 20 minutes for law enforcement to collect their heads and figure out their next move, because I'm sorry, Delphi is not used to handling such a major high-profile case. I'll give them that. I'll understand that. In fact, I'll tip my hat to them for trying to proceed with caution and empathy for the families. But the fact that these girls were more than likely found hours beforehand, then you look at the fact that you've got law enforcement and firefighters pretty much staged in place around the crime scene, deterring people from entering that area. Thanks, Rocky. It's alarming. I know, you're so right. It's so alarming.
Wow, that was him?
That was him.
She also said that you can read the email, just don't show it. And she really would love to, she wants it to be read because she said it was important.
Okay, I'll pull it up here in a second. But we have firefighters and we have law enforcement seemingly surrounding the crime scene area, deterring people, sending them away, saying it's already been searched. There's canines in the area that are searching. That's a lie. And then all of a sudden, law enforcement dissipates. They leave the area, allowing searchers to enter. And in that law enforcement scanner, we get a notation of when the crime scene is actually activated. Do you remember what time that was, Quester? Where they say the official search has begun?
The search?
Yes, I believe there's a reference to on the scanner where they basically, now all of a sudden the official search has begun. And it's
officially, officially it started at 7:30 in the morning.
But isn't there a reference to that hours after that? As I might have to go back and read. I could be wrong, but I feel like there's a secondary timestamp in that scanner report where they're basically notating that the search has now officially begun hours after it had begun earlier that morning. But my point is that searchers were then eventually allowed into that area to discover the crime scene. And then when when the clothes are discovered in the creek, we have no one able to contact law enforcement. They're not answering. No one's answering. And there's a time frame of 15, 20 minutes where phone calls are relayed and Pat Brown is finally contacted, who's not on scene, who then has the time to travel to the scene, park at the cemetery, make the trek down the ravine into the crime scene area to the creek. And then also Tom Mears is contacted to send people down, and then the crime scene is discovered. And then lo and behold, within 5 minutes after that, law enforcement shows up. You take all of that and you attach it to the law enforcement scanner, and when the bodies were actually found, the crime
You can also
go ahead.
You can also gain a lot of information by following the ambulances.
And why is that?
Well, you've already discussed the one with Medic 2 that went out to Kelsey's granddad. Yeah?
Yes. Yes.
Well, Kelsey took her granddad back to his house. His house being the one where Abby lived. Yeah?
Yes.
So therefore, it follows that Medic 2 went there. Yeah?
Uh-huh.
So Medic 2 is on the south side of the creek, right out of play. We're then hearing other ambulances, Medic 1 and Medic 3. Now, we've got, if I'll just dig this out, Medic 1. We have coming across the scanner, for instance, at 10:58. Although they didn't say the time, we can date that by tying it with things that Becky Patty was saying, which was exactly the things that she was being told at the time that this was happening. And we have coming over the scanner, urgent, have somebody bring 520 out. 528, we need the ropes. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So they were asking for the ropes. We know what they were for. I'll jump through this scanner to the important part. It says they also want 20-foot of ropes, and Medic 1 was then discussed, and in the background you can hear the ambulance. So at 10:58, we have on the scanner evidence that they're requesting the ropes that they used for doing that initial search, and we also have Medic 1 in the background. So we know at 10:58 the bodies must have been found. But then you ask yourself, why are they asking for an ambulance and not the coroner? Gives you something to think about, that, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is a very interesting observation. I did not think about that. I did not catch that.
Yeah, they requested the coroner later.
Much later.
Yeah. Cluster, do you know which officers in the CAD report were 8-7 and 8-10, 8-7, 8-10, because apparently they looked under the bridge multiple times.
Let's have a look, see if I can find them.
Thank you.
8-7 and 8-10. No, I haven't identified them yet. They were under the bridge multiple times, were they? Do you know when?
Yeah, guys. If you could let us know when, if you know when, and then also my other question is, do you have any like list of sorry, it's my chickens. Do you have a list of the identified officers so that we can like maybe eliminate do the process of elimination and try to figure it out?
Yeah, I've got quite a few of them identified. That's what I was saying. If you can tell me certain times that these officers that you want to identify were in certain places, I might be able to identify them for you.
Nicole, if you can do that, that would be. Her notes are at home, unfortunately, but if anyone could help us out, if not, we can save for a different time.
Yeah, I think we had a list of officers and there were call numbers, and because we had so many agencies, you know, we had the Tippecanoe Emergency Response Team there. Then you had ISP. Then you had Carroll County. We had a list, and unfortunately I don't have it on the new laptop. I'm still pulling stuff over, but we can look into those and see if we can cross-check.
As I say, I know where certain officers were at certain times. So if we can sort of backtrack, if you know which officers you're trying to find out the identity for, if you can tell me where your officer was, I can then tie it to the officers that I know their locations.
She's looking right now. Yeah, she's looking right now. So I'll let you know if she does say anything.
Brilliant, thanks.
All right, fungi, take over for just 1 second. I need to grab something really quick.
Oh yeah, so chickens are really fun. You're probably going to hear them because I'm talking. But let's see. Other things I wrote down. So I thought that was interesting. The Evansdale murders, that the parents turned state witness after some meth charge or whatever. Thank you, Trevor. I appreciate it. Michael said, oh, Nicole Nicole has the answer. 1838 and some seconds is 8-7.
Sorry, 18. Can you say that again?
Yeah, 1838.
Yeah, what does that signify?
That is apparently the time where they could hear 8-7. And at that time, they're under the bridge at that time searching, is what I want to confirm.
Right, so 1838 on the 13th under the bridge. 1838.
I believe so.
Yeah, there is a note for that. 1838 01192 has checked under the bridge, and that would be 1844. Who was around then?
The plot is so thick it wouldn't move from a hanging spoon.
Right. The officers we have on site at the time are Bunning, Kingery, and
Yoder.
And is it Cash? K-A-C-H?
Could be. I know that Kingery and Yoder were kind of like hand in hand that day.
Catron, maybe? Not Cash? I don't know. No, that'd be
a shortened version of his name, I would have thought. I've got no record of Yoda being there at that time. Bernhardt had just left at 1801, and Catron had just left at 1801.
Okay, Catron was not there. So you got Bunning, Kingery. Oh, yeah.
Liggett came on at 1821.
It's a curious time.
Let me see here. I'm
So
catching up.
if we know when they check in, and then we start seeing their call signs, then maybe we can kind of figure out processable, kind of like figure out, okay, well, this one shows up when this guy checked in, after this guy checked in.
These are times that they were checking in at certain points. Cash, whatever it is, KAC8, checked in 1834 as being on the site on the trails.
Yeah, if you want to send me this in email too, I'd love to take a look at it too. Just I could definitely.
I'll forward it to you. So we're gonna jump into the email that I was just sent by Sunshine Moon in regard to Johnny Messer being somehow connected to someone in the Evansdale case. Let me see. There was a Fig states, why did Mike Patty's story change in the Hulu doc? He used to project himself as this unsung hero searching for the girls alone. Now he says he was with Becky Patty, didn't first run through the woods searching. Exactly. And I have got photographs of Mike Patty throughout the night searching, and Becky Patty is not with him. And in fact, in one of her interviews, a more recent interview, I think within the last 2 or 3 years, she's talking about her timeline and what she was doing. And she reiterates that, and Mike was doing whatever Mike said he was doing. So they were not together. I really, really freaking hate having to question.
Amy?
Yes.
They were together at 5:15 in the afternoon.
They were.
Because Becky's saying that he told him to call the police.
Mm-hmm. I'm talking later. I'm talking throughout the hours of the night when Mike Patty supposedly got into a canoe and went traveling down the creek. There's a lot of things over the years where the stories have changed, especially with Kelsey. And I can completely get down with time variations, or did she pull into here? Did they drive there? But the actual detailed descriptions of things that have went sideways throughout this case are unexplainable.
And I think that the scrutiny at all these statements isn't necessarily an attack on the family or anything. It's just like, if we put them all together and we just kind of show, look, this is kind of weird, then maybe they will come out and like set the record straight, and we'll be able to actually like hear a viable reason for it. That's kind of my hope.
Generally, right at the start of the case, that's when people will be confused. They'll get their time slightly different. But as it goes through, they will tend to talk, and they get the story or the version, whatever you want to call it, nailed down later. With this, it seems to have gone the opposite way around, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
When that happens, you start thinking, hang on, what's going on here?
Hey, Indy Cindy, how are you? I hope you enjoyed your vacation. Yeah, it does seem to be reversed. It does. I'm going to read through this information from Sunshine Moon. And this is in relation to Johnny Messer living with one of the victim's mothers in Evansdale. Just bear with me. I've read up on the Evansdale case. I don't know all of the details by heart, or the dates, or the families. I do know that the one father is now serving life in prison for drugs. That was another indicator of a connection with methamphetamines to Delphi. And There is people that live in Delphi who are connected to Evansdale as far as visiting the area around the same times. So I'm just going to read this, and this is just off the cuff because this just came up in chat. So what I'm reading is not something that I've researched or have any proof of. I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to read to you what I was sent. And really quick, I don't know if any of you have a reference to the hog facility in Iowa. I'm assuming that is the hog facility, Sunshine Moon, correct me if I'm wrong, but the hog facility is where in the 3rd episode of the Netflix documentary Taken Together, the hog facility is where the teenagers who were picked up after school were taken, and one was brutally unalived and one escaped. Is that correct? Is this the same hog facility? Sunshine Moon? I'm waiting for her to answer. She says yes. Okay. So if you guys have not watched the Netflix documentary called Taken Together about the Evansdale murder, I recommend that you watch it. There are interviews in there with the Patties and Anna Williams, and the fact that these two cases could possibly be linked. Then the 3rd episode is about a male who abducts 2 girls. They're teenagers, young teenagers. I would say Abby and Libby's age. They get into a vehicle. He takes them to a farm, and he brutally attacks them both, and one escapes. One does not survive. And the victim who does escape makes it to help, and they believe that the people that she reaches, they believe to know who the abductor was. They go in search of him, and when they find him, he had unalived himself. So his name is Michael Blunders.
What did he just say? What did your parent just say?
He's talking and commentating under his breath and making,
just like all of us.
Yeah. So Michael Klunder, who's mistakenly referred to as with the surname of Blunder, he was a convicted sex offender who abducted and killed Kathleen Shepard and attempted to abduct Desi Hughes in May of 2013 at a hog confinement operation in central Iowa. Some investigators initially explored whether Klunder could be connected to the July 2012 abduction and murder of Lyric Cook and Elizabeth Collins because of the similarities in the crimes and the fact that Klunder had access to a hog confinement owned by his father-in-law. However, the father-in-law's name has not been publicly identified in any official reports or credible media sources. He is generally referred to only as the owner of the hog confinement operation, where Klunder committed the central crime in 2013. We don't have verified information that this individual was ever suspected in the Evansdale case. So, Fungi, there's your next search and rescue mission. Find out the father-in-law's name.
Yes, I will.
Investigators ultimately ruled Klunder out as a suspect in the Evansdale murders, concluding he was not in Evansdale on July 13th of 2012. Since then, there has never been, I scrolled too fast. They concluded he was not in Evansdale on July 13th of 2012. Since then, there has never been any public indication that his father-in-law was involved or implicated in either case. The father-in-law in question was the owner of a hog confinement facility in Iowa where Clunder committed the Dayton abduction in May 2013. His name has not been disclosed publicly. There is no known evidence or official report linking the father-in-law to the Evansdale case involving Lyric Cook and Elizabeth Collins. Michael Clunder himself has been formally ruled out as a suspect in the Evansdale murder as of about May of 2014. The hog confinement facility where Michael Clunder worked and which was owned by his father-in-law is located near Dayton, Iowa, a rural town about 60 miles north of Des Moines. Dayton, Iowa. Des Moines. Dayton, Iowa served as the site where Clunder abducted 15-year-old Kathleen Shepard and 12-year-old Desi Hughes, taking them to a hog confinement building on a property where he had employment ties. Okay, so Sunshine Moon, nothing in this email has any information about Johnny Messer. Am I missing something? Here, let me see. I don't have any, there's Sunshine Moon, there's nothing in here that connects Johnny Messer to a mother in Evansdale. However, while we're waiting for her to respond, I have more information that just came in. This is from someone who lives in Rushville, born and raised, and is married to someone who was also born and raised in Rushville. They state, I was very curious, and I may have to paraphrase here because I have not proofread this information that I just got. So this is coming in fast and hot. So I'm going to read it slowly, and I may have to jump over names because I'm not going to put anyone's names out there. But it states, over the weekend, they read the Rushville transcripts and are also listening to the live coverage here on my channel. I don't know any of the parties really well, but being a small town, I know most of them. Reaching out via email as opposed to chat, as I want to be anonymous as possible. They both have professional careers in Rushville, and they don't want to be doxxed, and they want to stay off the radar. Not sure if any of this is of significance, but a few things I discovered yesterday scouring social media and the Indiana My Case site after reading the transcripts. Carrie Messer is the female who accompanied Taylor to the deposition. She was the current wife at the time of Johnny Messer, and she accompanied Taylor Hornaday to her deposition. Carrie Messer filed for divorce from Johnny Messer last month, August 28th to 25. So
Carrie, come on down.
Right. So it appears the Johnny, Carrie, Taylor domestic co-parenting bliss might be no more. With this, Carrie might be someone interesting to hear from at some point. On top of the Rod Abrams being called Chester in quotation marks, it appears his middle name is Chester as well. Another thing that got my attention was Baldwin asking if they knew Pete Dune and Matt Busberg, as I was in the same grade as them, 7th through 12th. Very curious to know the correlation there. Peter was married, so Pete Dunn was married to Johnny's sister. And both Pete and Matt show quite a few arrests for meth. Going to get back to listening, but felt compelled to pass this along. If you have any questions regarding the Rushville Delphi connection, feel free to reach out. Thanks for all that you do, keeping this and other cases out there. Wow. So the fact that he and she notated that it appears that the Johnny Carey Taylor domestic co-parenting list might be no more seems to be true. So waiting to hear from Sunshine Moon about the connection. I think
She said to ask Precocent about that part, for the proof of that part.
Okay, so I will ask Precocent. Me and Precocent had a really long conversation a couple weeks ago about some people who were out on the bridge walking the trails with Bree Wilbur and Rayleigh Voorhees that have been left out of witness statements.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
3 of them.
Yes, there's 3 of them, which would make the party of 4 actually a party of 7. And I've you know, before I put any kind of misinformation out there, we still have to kind of solidify that and find proof. But it's been an undertone this whole entire time that it just can't be ignored. And it also really factors in with the supplemental reports in the CAD report, well, the supplemental reports on top of the CAD reports with the unidentified caller who calls in around, I believe it was the evening of the 13th or the 14th, stating that they saw 4 girls that were on the roadway, that the time and the descriptions do not match up with the 4 girls that the state proclaimed to be the only girls out there on the trails that Rick Allen would have passed. Then we also have in these non-confidential exhibits some random inserts of just like, it looks like a report, but there's no official signature. There's no date timestamp of what it is. It's just several paragraphs stating, you know, arrival times of like David McCain, Daniel Pearson, Shelby Hicks, and none of it is definitive, and some of it contradicts information that we do have for sure. So there's so much, there's so much information flying around that I want to be very careful in what we cover here. The other thing before we jump off of here, I want to share my screen and show you guys something else that I'm working on. Is
it chickens?
Rocky says stop stealing his shine.
Wait, he really said that?
He did. He whispered it to me. He said, "Tell the chickens he's the bird. he's the bird of the hour."
Apparently, Johnny Messer has a sister who's in the Indiana State Police.
Mm.
Well, yeah, we're gonna look into that. Sorry, Rocky.
She didn't deter him, did she? I mean, he was what, on freaking house arrest for 6 years? So we have all of these pages of discovery that was turned over to the defense, including a massive batch of cameras that were collected. So let me show you guys. I've already started. Yes, Tom, you are so freaking right. So much more to discuss, but we all have lives. Let me just tell you before I pull this up. Yesterday, when I got up at like 7:45 a.m., Mike was already up, showered, doing stuff. Mike is up at the crack of dawn with the roosters, fun guy. He's up with the roosters. Me sleeping in is 7:45, 8 a.m. So me and Breeze, my little Yorkie, who's my sidekick, her and I'm like, okay, I've got to get this knocked out and done. Yesterday, I went to, this is just my life in a day. Got up, got a shower, got dressed, did her hair because we were going in public. We went to Home Depot. I bought outside window cleaner to attach to my hose to clean all the outside parts of the windows on the house. I bought bird seed so I can continue to feed all of my outside critters, etc. Then I went to Big Lots because Mike wanted these packs of salmon, lemon dill, like tuna packs, but it's salmon. And I guess you can only get them at Big Lots. The Big Lots filed bankruptcy, closed down, reopened. And now that they've reopened, their store looks different on the inside. So I went there, shopped around a little bit, bought a bunch of like home decor stuff and his salmon packs. Then we went to Kroger and went grocery shopping. That was like an hour and a half. Then I went to the dollar store to get, what did I go there to get? Oh, like kitchen sink scrub pads and all that kind of stuff. Yes, Home Depot is my favorite place. Home Depot. So like 5.5 hours yesterday was consumed with me running errands. Oh, and I was so proud of my grocery shopping trip because I said, okay, I'm buying today dinner for every single night of this week. So when I get off work this week, I don't have to go to the store. He doesn't have to worry about it. Yada, 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 yada. Then I came home, I cleaned windows, cleaned some floors, did some laundry, and then worked on the computer. And I have still yet to get things from my old laptop converted over to my new laptop. Woke up this morning, put together this, what we're going through now. And yeah, that's how this works. So Tom, absolutely. There's way more to discuss, but we all have lives. So I'm going to share my screen, and I started this morning taking the list. Can you guys see my screen? All right. Fungi, Quester. Can you guys see?
Allegedly.
Yep,
I'll say yes, maybe.
Okay. So, all right, hang on a minute. So this is my Google Earth project that I've been working on with the help of a local. Can't say her name, but she's thebomb.com. And she has family who lives right there by the private drive. But I have been, here, let me see. So on this Google Earth map, I have everything that you could possibly dream of. The crime scene, the Monon High Bridge, all of the pertinent locations. What I'm doing now, as you can see here, like with the Sandiford property, not only do I have their property pinned, but I also have them having a camera. So I have began to go through the discovery list that the state provided to the defense team, and I have begun to mark where they collected cameras from. Let me see here.
I have the list of addresses. Do you just want me to send you that list? I mean, I already.
You can. I'm going off the discovery list, but like over here in the downtown Delphi area, I have began to connect. And and what we're seeing here is like the McDonald's, the Marathon gas station, the public library. We've got the Pizza King. I even have some of the properties that the Patties rent out on here. Patrick Westfall's house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin all of the locations where they collected cameras from. And this is just kind of like a sample of, you see the lines and the connections of these locations. This is going to expand. So we can look at where Rick Allen lived, and we can also look at the route that Rick Allen would have taken from his mother's house to his home, and then the route that law enforcement wants us to believe that he took to the trails to park at the CPS lot. And we're going to see how many cameras would have actually captured him based on the list of cameras that's in Discovery. But we have, you go all the way over here. Wait a minute. Let me see. I even have Muddy Bloody Guy on here. The cemetery, where the bodies were found, the cell tower across the street from Ron Logan's property that did not work. This is work in progress. And I've shared it with Fungi so she can help me start to pin.
A question, Amy.
Uh-huh.
Have you got the scan to the right? Sorry, scan to the left.
Okay.
Right. Ron Logan's, scan up. See where the road bends?
Right here?
Can you enlarge? Right. Now follow the road up from Ron Logan's up past the cell tower, round the bend.
Okay.
Right. You see, right. Keep going a bit further up that road. Right. You see that T junction? Well, you've gone a bit too far. You see the T junction?
Right
Just
here?
there. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Down a bit there. Down. Right. Bring your arrow down. But that T, whoop, too far. Back up again. Whoop. Right. T junction just above your arrow.
Right here?
That one. Whoop. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a camera there. You haven't got that on your list, have you?
I don't think, whose property is that? There's a camera right there?
Right on that junction, yeah.
Whose camera
You know who
is
lived
that?
around there?
Whose
Now that would be
camera?
that'd be a really interesting one to know if there was any video on it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, whose camera is that?
I haven't got the name of the owner.
But you know who grew up right around there? You'll never guess. A man by the name of Charles Shank, who goes by Bill Shank.
Oh, that's a funny name.
And how is, yeah, that's a random name. Is that related to the investigator, Kathy Shank?
It's her husband. Ha!
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, anyways, I find things.
Okay, so I got it marked there.
If you think about it, Kelsey had to drive past that one to get to the trail.
Okay.
And it's also possible that Rick Allen drove past it if he came down through the country.
I'm looking here. Yep, you're right, because right there is Mike and Becky, Patty's, and Libby and Kelsey German's property. So
that would have been the route she'd have had to taken.
So wait a minute. Is this the Patty's home right here?
No, it's to the south of where you got it marked.
Here?
Okay.
Right. No, up
Yeah,
a
you
bit.
heard Rocky said okay.
No. Go up a bit, back to the road. Go up. Whoop. Now go to the left. No, the other way. Whoa. Right. You see those ones there?
I see them. There's
That one.
two.
Right. The one your arrow was by.
This one or this one?
That one, I believe, is them. I believe that's them. I could be wrong. I believe it is them.
Okay, so my friend who lives in the area has this area over here with the purple pin marked as their property. So I mean, I can remove it.
Let's just.
I would need the exact address.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have found that.
Hold on. So I'll delete that.
Find it.
If you have the exact address, I can put it in. But I thought we would do a whole episode on just marking this map and basically outlining where all of the cameras are based on the discovery. I thought that would be really insightful to see how much information was withheld because, you know, the state, they were an open book, right? Now we're going to read the book and we're going to see exactly what information they had and what they didn't put in the book. So do we have the Patty's actual address?
Good question.
Uh, 300 and 575. Radar, is that the address? Oh no, say what? Don't tell me that about Home Depot. Home Depot, he says, I saw a list of trafficking. Home Depot was there. I won't shop there. Well, it's the closest home store to stuff that I need. And I just run in there because they have the best price on bird food. I'm almost done. Still waiting on an address, guys. Well, I don't. We can come back to, I mean, we can, I'll find it and I'll pin it. And then we will do an episode where we find all these cameras. I've got the McDonald's, I've got the CVS, I've got the Pizza King, I've got the library and all of that already on here. Who just popped out and came back in? Who is that? Girl.
It's me. Sorry, my chickens decided to hit something.
Big JD says he can add all of the Shanks addresses. That's fine. That's great. I'll take them.
Then I don't know if you saw.
Go ahead. Oh,
I don't know if you saw. Maybe not. Don't post them right here. Just send him via email. But I don't know if you saw that Queen of the Hill said she would love to help digitize this stuff. Just needs some direction as to what to put together and where. I told her to contact you via email. I just wanted to let you know for sure.
Queen of the Hill is also. Yeah, I've been in contact with her.
Excellent.
She is the creator of the case by case highlight video that I just released last week. So Okay, 3348 West 500. Let's see what that takes us. There's an address.
Yeah.
33.
Might be best to do the addresses. I just don't want you getting any strikes or whatever.
No, this is a shared screen. So, okay, let's see.
Get over here. No.
Okay, so see the Patty's address comes up right there, which there's not a home there.
Fucking chicken.
So I'm gonna have to do a little bit more digging. And you know what? The area is so rural, you can't get a street view on any of this. Let's see. Let's go over here and try the street view there. No street view data available.
Honestly, it's probably related to the case. They did something similar for Idaho.
But as you guys can see, I mean, look at this, how congested this map looks. But when you zoom in, it's not, but it has some serious pins on it. I even have the white vehicle at 208 across the way from the Sandiford's camera on here, the private drive, the Lieberts. And I'm just going to keep adding to it, but what I'll do is I will get the list. If Fungi wants to give me the list of addresses for all the cameras, we'll plug these in and then we will start adding them. And then we will basically cast the net on here as to show us proof Rick Allen drove this route, like you said, because with all of the cameras that are listed, he should have been captured. Other than just the Hoosier Harvest Store camera. So I expect for this yellow line of dots of these cameras to expand. Let me see, is Rick Allen's property? I know Rick Allen's is on here. Maybe not.
1967 Whiteman Drive.
So this needs to be the focal point of when he left here. And I have a video of this route because I drove it and I recorded the whole thing. But I drove it leaving Rick's house, coming out here and turning left, going down here to downtown and going through downtown.
Would you like an interesting but useless fact, Amy?
Sure.
Rick Allen's house, yeah?
Uh-huh.
A couple of doors away is a property that Cody Patty rented when he was kicked out of the Patty house.
Yes.
And someone I've been talking to on Twitter gave me permission to say this, but they did give me permission to finally say this. But apparently, I'm not sure if it was a direct buy or if there was something in between, like an owner in between. But
this is massive. This is massive. This is massive. Go ahead. Drop the bomb.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I'd like to thank I believe it's True Crime with Eve. She's on Twitter. Please follow her. 100%. she's digging into the stuff. I'm begging you guys, just follow her. She's all over it. Anyways, so the people who used to own Rick Allen's house, I'm not sure if the Allens bought it directly from them or if there was someone in between, because I know it was built, purchased by a first buyer, purchased by a second buyer, and then the Allens. So I'm not sure if they were the first or second. However, the people who used to live there are directly related to Elvis Fields. I believe it's Cary land. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe it's just small town or something like that, just the area. But I thought that was pretty interesting. And we're really just trying to figure out if it was direct, because so the thing is with the purchase history is it was purchased and then it was sold later on at a ginormous loss, I want to say almost a third of its value, maybe fourth of its value. But then a couple months later, it looks like it was flipped. So I think the original people might have kind of trashed it a little bit, and then it was flipped, and then it was purchased by the Allens. And that's as much as I've been able to figure out so far. So 3,000 people live in Delphi, is what Mar R said.
Returning to that house, that house I told you about, Amy.
Mm-hmm.
It's 4 doors from Rick Allen, and at the time, it was apparently owned by Mike and Becky.
1909.
I haven't got the number. I've only got down 4 doors from. So 1909, I suppose it must be.
So if Whiteman Drive is here, we go 1, 2, 3. It could be 1905 or 1909. I have it. Sure. I actually have. I think I actually have pictures of the property because it was searched.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is Cody was sharing living there with Michael Brevard, Carroll County LE officer.
Okay. Oh God.
Who? Michael what?
Brevard.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That's all right.
So I have on here one of the my friend who's a local. Let me see if I can find it right here. It says Derek German and Cody Patty at this property here. But I don't know why this is tagged on here. And that is quite a good distance away.
They do own a lot of properties.
They do. They do. So here's Rick Allen's property.
I posted True Crime with Eve's Twitter handle or Twitter link in the chat. Please follow her, and please, all the credit goes to her. I posted it one more time. I just want to do that one more time. So thank you.
Yep. Her link's in the chat. All right, guys. Well, we will get back with you tomorrow. I will be covering the longest running Amber Alert case. I know for a fact in the history of Florida, but more than likely in the United States. So look for that link to drop. And thank you, Quester, and thank you, Fungi, for being here. Thank you, everybody in the chat, my mods.
Hey, what funny word should we have Quester say on the way out? What funny word? No, we got it. This is the thing we're doing now.
Yeah. I want to hear Quester say ventriloquist.
Yes, please.
Say it.
Do it. Ventriloquist.
There you go. That
Oh,
was
now you
clear.
gotta say anthropomorphism. I can't.
Anthropomorphism.
I love it.
You know,
I love
I
your
did it
accent.
first
I
try.
love your accent. I love your
First try.
You're weird.
accent. All right, you guys.
Blueberries.
Blueberries.
Yeah, I
I
feel
love
like
you
you could.
guys.
Thank you. All right. See ya.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.